please be seated. Military personnel uncovered. There are many things I love about the Ford. One of those is our esteemed choir. Thank you for that musical snack. That was awesome. You guys rock. Just want you to know that. And I have two favorite holidays in this world. One is Christmas, and the other one is today. It's Happy Donut Day, folks, in case you didn't know. So I guess you can get a free donut somewhere. I don't know. But thank you again. It is again my pleasure to welcome you to the retirement ceremony of Lieutenant Commander Jeffrey A. Harris. The retirement ceremony is the nation's expression of a job well done, a sincere official recognition of a long period of faithful and honorable service. It is a day of great significance, marking the end of a rewarding way of life within the Navy community. The ceremony concludes when, for the last time, the retiring member's shipmates pipe him over the side. This is a distinct naval courtesy. A final farewell called on the boatswain's pipe. This pipe is one of the oldest and most distinctive articles of personal nautical equipment used to salute distinguished persons as well as to pass orders. I would like to extend an especially warm welcome to Lieutenant Commander Harris's mother, Denise. I don't want to get your names wrong. Father Chris and the daughter Summer, the lovely daughter Summer, son MA3 Petty Officer Austin Harris, family members, shipmates, friends, Captain Meyer, our commanding officer, XO, Captain Campagno, retired Captain Tito Arundella, who was the most senior security officer, first one and ever, only one to put on captain, so welcome, sir. Thank you for being here. Family members, friends, shipmates, those who have traveled from California, Austin, Texas, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and South Carolina. It's a lot of folks. Did you pay for, I know you didn't pay for all of them to get here. Oh my gosh. I know that you, more than any one of us, are vividly aware of the sacrifices that Lieutenant Commander Harris has made in the service to our country. That Lieutenant Commander, and I speak for the entire Navy Command when I say how pleased we are to have you here today. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the presiding officer for today's ceremony. He's a native of Export, Pennsylvania. Captain Meyer graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1986 with a Bachelor of Science degree in General Engineering, completed flight training in Beeville, Texas, and was winged as a naval aviator in August of 1988. His tours include the Shadow Hawks of Electronic Attack Squadron VAQ 141, one of my favorite ships, USS Theodore Roosevelt CVN 71, VAQ 129, where he was Instructor Pilot of the Year in 1995, Carrier Air Wing 2, Aviano Air Base Italy with VAQ 131, USS Constellation CV 64, the newly commissioned Fighting Phoenix of VAQ 128, the Navy Personnel Command in Millington, Tennessee, Joint Chiefs of Staff as Senior Ops Officer and Emergency Actions Officer in the National Military Command Center. He was also the Executive Officer on board USS Harry S. Truman, Commanding Officer USS Gunston Hall, and now he serves currently as our Commanding Officer of Pre-Commissioning Unit Gerald R. Ford in June 2013. Captain Meyer has accumulated more than 4,000 flight hours and 675 landings. His decorations include Legion of Merit 3 awards and various other personal and unit level awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Commanding Officer PCU Gerald R. Ford, Captain John Meyer.
Thanks for that introduction, Master Chief. I think I'll break with tradition, and your introduction may actually be longer than my comments today, although I doubt it. That's always the risk when you invite me, and as much as I know that Jeff has enjoyed our department head meetings, the HODS meetings throughout, where sometimes I get up in my soapbox and perhaps pontificate a little bit, trying to mentor the heads of the various departments in the command into my way of thinking. He took diligent notes throughout the time together. He might share this with you later, but I'll try to keep this brief. It is absolutely great to see the family here and so many friends and folks that you've influenced throughout your time in the Navy, and I would argue throughout your life as well. Your son and daughter, Summer and Austin, it's great, parents, step-parents, and then all those others. I love seeing the sheriff's badges out here. I'm a big fan of the sheriff's badge. I feel safer with more of them around. I would feel even more safe if you're all armed up right now. We'll get there on Ford in fairly short order, but we're on a very good path with that. To our choir and our color guard, I love seeing the Gerald R. Ford ownership of ceremonies like this. It wasn't too terribly long ago where we had neither. And now we're well on the way. You look at our ship today, we're really progressing tremendously. I will tell you just about, I think about 25 minutes ago, we launched our first sled into the river, which was what's known as a no-load test for our electromagnetic aircraft launching system. Reactor plant testing is going on, dual band radar testing. The ship's about 90% complete, and we continue to go through the test program. A fundamental part of that, though, is how you build the culture of a command. And I'll tell you that I've been in commands and I've seen places where it is an us versus them type of mentality with security versus those that they are there to protect. And we see that in some of our cities today with the relationships between police departments and the local populace for which they are there to serve and protect. And it's unfortunate we see that. My first words with Jeff when we checked in was along those lines, is that the culture that we create here has got to be one where we build a team, where our sailors understand crystal clear that our security force is not here to harass them, they're not here to bother them, they're here to protect them, and to protect this $15 billion national asset that's named Gerald R. Ford. To that end, Jeff, you've just done an absolutely spectacular job. You've taken ownership of our security department and seen it grow. You've outfitted our folks. You've pushed hard to accept spaces and get the spaces done properly. None of that should be a surprise to anybody, though. You don't come into the job as a security officer without a very, very strong resume, without great influences, and Jeff certainly has all of that. 27 and a half years of service, a whole slew of degrees, experience, and a whole bunch of commands, several of which we've been together. So we served on Connie together back in the day. We were in Charleston together. I was incarcerated at the Navy's Nuclear Power School while you were, I think, probably taking care of folks over in the brig, other prisoners. But we were down there together, and then we got the opportunity to serve here together on Ford. It's been an absolute pleasure to serve with you. You will be missed, though, without a doubt. And there's a part of me that selfishly would want to hold on to you. But you've done your time. 27 and a half years is more than we can ask for anybody. But there's an aspect also to retirements that I never really liked, because it reminds me of what I would refer to as perhaps my own mortality in uniform. I'm within a year now of my 30-year retirement. There'll be claw marks probably somewhere on the ship as I get drug off the ship. But every retirement ceremony I go to reminds me of just that the end has to come for all of us. And I say the end, but the end in uniform. I think it's softened considerably and not lost on me that your son serves as an MA3 out in Port Hueneme. I think that is spectacular. There's nothing that a father could probably be more proud of than to essentially hand off the reins with your 27 and a half years of service to your son's service to protect and serve and defend our nation as you have so well over the years. I know as you look forward to retirement, as we talked about this in your checkout, and if you don't know this, Jeff and I talked quite a bit about things. He's perhaps what I would refer to as cerebral. He's a reader. He understands security and a whole host of other things. And we've shared comments and thoughts and contrarian ideas from Malcolm Gladwell to community policing to you name it. And I've always enjoyed that aspect of our conversations. But your retirement sounds pretty fine too. You've pulled hard for the Navy for 27 and a half years, but a retirement of fishing, hunting in Oklahoma, in Texas, and then the Troops to Teachers program of an ability to continue to serve just in a different uniform, an ability to serve our nation and to demonstrate to the youth of our nation the value of your service, of sacrifice, of hard work, of dedication, and then going on to continue to serve. It's admirable. You'll be missed. I absolutely wish you the best in your retirement, and I wish you fair winds and flowing seas, my friend.
Thank you, Captain Meyer, for those very brief remarks. Appreciate that, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the award presentation. Military personnel, Attention to award. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal, Gold Star in lieu of second award to Lieutenant Commander Jeffrey A. Harris, United States Navy, for the service as set forth in the following citation. For outstanding meritorious service while serving as security officer on board pre-commissioning unit Gerald R. Ford, CVN 78, from May 2013 to September 2015. Lieutenant Commander Harris's skillful management and unparalleled leadership were pivotal in ensuring the highest standards of physical security were defined and met. He was solely responsible for establishing 37 Security Department directives and procedures, as well as researching and validating shipboard allowances and requirements. His identification of excess and undesired equipment saved the Navy more than $300,000 in labor and equipment costs. Additionally, he meticulously revamped the entire Naval Security Forces training program, creating 120-hour service academies for service force members, thereby training more than 140 personnel during 600 hours of classroom instruction. His significant contributions to the security community and this command are far-reaching and will have lasting positive impact on the Navy for years to come. This award is the culmination of 27 years of dedicated service to our Navy and the defense of our nation, and is a testament to the enduring contribution and countless personal sacrifices he made to preserve the freedoms and liberties all Americans cherish. Lieutenant Commander Harris's exceptional professionalism, personal initiative, and loyal devotion to duty reflected great credit upon him and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the President, signed J.R. Haley, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Commander, Naval Air Force, Atlantic. Commander Harris will now be presented the Presidential Certificate from President George W. Bush. Dear Jeff, congratulations on your retirement from the United States Armed Forces. I am proud to have served as your Commander-in-Chief, and I am pleased to join your family, friends, and colleagues in recognizing your career and accomplishments. Throughout history, the dedicated men and women of our military have protected our citizens and preserved the ideals that make our country strong. Their courage and sacrifice have inspired countless people and have helped shape America's character. On behalf of a grateful nation, I thank you for your contributions to our security and to the cause of peace and freedom. Your service, patriotism, and selfless devotion have helped advance the universal hope of liberty at home and around the world. Laura and I send our best wishes for health and happiness in the years ahead. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless America. Signed, sincerely, George W. Bush. You'll also receive presidential certificates from President George Herbert Walker Bush and President Barack Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, you can be seated. I forgot to say that earlier, sorry. And finally, we have one more certificate. It's a retirement certificate. Did you read that to me already? Okay, good. You got to read that one. This is a retirement certificate. It basically makes it official, so to speak, via certificate. Certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Lieutenant Commander Jeffrey A. Harris, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Navy on the first day of September 2015. Signed, Vice Admiral Moran, United States Navy, Chief of Naval Personnel. Sir, I need you to step down. All right, this is where we kind of give you stuff, I guess. PCU Gerald R. Ford's Executive Officer, Captain Magna, will now present Lieutenant Commander Harris a gift on behalf of the officers of the Gerald R. Ford. No live animals, sir. Could pay the insurance for it. All right, now the interesting part. Chief Sparks will now present a gift on behalf of the Security Department to you, because we love you so much. To you. No live band, not yet. Wait till the Hilton Tavern at the end.
So those been serving in the inmate community for longer than 13 years know that we're all cross rates of some sort. And we wanted to essentially recognize your time as a signalman because it makes the rate what it is today. We all cross rated from something. So we had to incorporate your signal flags there. And I know you're a movie guy, so you can be my signalman anytime.
Oh shit, you can be mine. You should see the drill, man. Take it.
So that's from us, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
No? Nice. We got one more.
Here, come here.
All right, the tradition of a shadow box is unique to the Navy. It's given to a retiring sailor and is born of early British custom. In the days of sail, when Britain ruled the seas, it was considered bad luck for a sailor upon final departure from the ship to allow his shadow to hit the pier before he himself actually departed. And in order to ensure no such misfortune would befall their shipmate, we created a shadow box. The crew would construct a box or maybe a sea chest of the finest timber, bound in brass and placed within it all things, a fine sword, a brace of pistols, a rifle or musket. It was presented to remind the retiree of crews and ships he had served with and reflected his accomplishments. Only then could the man with the shadow of himself in hand safely depart the ship and go ashore once and for all. Senior Chief McGill, a fellow Master-at-Arms and shipmate on board the PCU Gerald R. Ford, will now present Lieutenant Commander Harris with his shadow box.
And Tina said, you better get up there and give this to him.
That is really cool. Did an outstanding job. Wow. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Senior Chief McGill. You can have a seat now, but you're going to have to watch the video. All right, so before I get started and introduce our man of the hour, I'm not a roasting kind of guy. He was more, we kind of bantered back and forth at work several different times, but to his family and friends, you know what you have in a son, a father, a brother. We don't know until we get to know him, and I don't think a lot of folks here may not know who he is actually. So with that said, I'd like to show you some pictures of who this man truly is. Go ahead. There he is. Hey, I'm no expert, but I'm glad Don't Ask, Don't Tell went away. You know? You came from his loins. I don't know. What's the next picture? Oh, there we go. Okay. You got to do some explaining on that one because I have no clue what you were even thinking of on that one. Next. Your mom is fortunate enough to send me these things. I don't know which one is you, which one is...
Not the one with hair.
Yeah, I got it. Next. There. It's a little X-rated, but it's okay. That was back when you had it written.
I've always had it.
Next one. And there you go. He's a family man, and I know you appreciate and love him. I know it's a wonderful surprise we got. What is that? What kind of is that? The original inmate. Next. There you go. Family man, loves his family.
Can't see the picture with the big head in the way.
I didn't bring your glasses anyway.
Is that it? Okay, that was it. I just wanted to show you some pictures. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you with that, but that is this man right here. He's full of fun. What can you say about him, right? To know him is to love him, as the old song says. He's a native of Lake Elsinore, California. Lieutenant Commander Harris enlisted in February of 1988, serving 14 years and rising to the rank of Senior Chief. Master at Arms, where he was selected for commissioning through the Navy's Limited Duty Officer Accession Program. Lieutenant Commander Harris graduated magna cum laude from Ashford University in 2011. During his enlisted service, Lieutenant Commander Harris served aboard 5 ships, including 3 aircraft carriers, as well as several demanding shore-duty billets, such as Strategic Weapons Facility at Atlantic Marine Corps Security Force Battalion, Supervisor of Detainee Operations at Joint Task Force Guantanamo Bay, and Public Safety Officer at Naval Air Facility, Djibouti, Africa. In his final tour, Lieutenant Commander Harris reported for duty as a security officer for Pre-Commissioning Unit Gerald R. Force, CVN 78 in Newport News, Virginia. During this assignment, he supervised the development, training, and deployment of the largest afloat Master at Arms force and the delivery of the first optimally manned aircraft carrier security force. Lieutenant Commander Harris's decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal, Navy Commendation Medal, 7 awards, Army Commendation Medal, and Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, 6 awards. But he's more than that. He's a man of honor, integrity, and great intellect. He's a great friend. He's an awesome father, brother, son, shipmate, and I count it an awesome privilege to call him my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lieutenant Commander Jeffrey A. Harris.
Thanks, Master Chief. Thanks for the surprises. I have my hearing aids in, and I'm putting on my glasses. I noticed there's a thread falling out of my uniform. And they say that you'll always know when you're ready to retire. When my uniform's falling off, I can't hear, I can't see. So maybe I should take some of the hints. Cap Meyer, thank you, sir, for presiding over the ceremony, supporting the security department. A lot of security officer friends and security folks in the room know how important it is for the security officer and the security team to have the support of the commander who understands what it is that we're trying to do, that we're not trying to do that, us versus them. And you've always been there to support us. So those of you that may need another commanding officer, he gets it. So before I start, I want to say thank you to some people who helped put this whole thing together. Master Chief Jack Mickle, which actually means Julie probably did a lot of the work because his wife's over there. Chief Warrant Officer Katie Rogers, Ensign John Page, the choir and the color guard. Everybody give everything. Also, please provide another round of applause for Mr. Josh Mickle, who's back there, who did all the presentations, the video presentations. He's available for hire. I'm his new manager. Thank you very much. But he did all of that. He also did the trailer that we put up on the Facebook link and all that. So Josh Mickle back there, thank you very much. So how do you wrap up 27 and a half years? 330 months, 1,320 weeks, 10,035 days, a journey of 10,000 days. So I thought about telling some stories, thought about tearjerker memories, and there's a couple guys here now that I remember from, we all know some things, we've been some places together. I thought about a little comedy routine, but that was never gonna work. I thought about giving some advice to those that are gonna stand my watch, because I'm looking for somebody to stand my watch. And I decided against all that, and I said I'd just get up here and just ramble on for like 15 minutes, because it's like my ceremony, so. I'll sit down at some point. I love the movie Forrest Gump. So like Forrest Gump, he's like this haphazard guy, and he gets thrown into all these like really cool scenarios and meets all these cool people, and all these things happen to him along this journey, and then at the end of the movie you go, wow, that was a really good movie. My journey of 10,000 days has been kind of like that. I've been to some cool places, I've met some cool people, and great things happen like that. So that's kind of how I look at my journey of 10,000 days. In the movie, there's some supporting characters that come along through the movie, and you see them. And Forrest Gump always turns around, he looks for his mom and all those folks that were the supporting cast. And I think they all ended up getting awards. I'm not here giving out Oscars, but I too have a supporting cast. And so what I would like to do is spend some time to talk about the supporting people who have been there all along in my journey of 10,000 days. Some of those folks aren't here anymore. Some of those folks didn't make it to the ceremony and they're shipmates, but I've got shipmates from all over the world who have come here today to say goodbye to this thing that I did, this box, this 10,000 day journey. So I'd like to spend some time and talk about my supporting cast from the beginning. So more than 27 years ago, 27 and a half years ago, I think it was the very beginning of January, my mom was in the kitchen cooking dinner. My stepdad Buster was watching Sports Center, I think, and I walked over, and I actually have it. Josh was putting some stuff together. I had a folder, and I had a little folder from Navy Recruiting District San Diego, and I threw it on the counter, and I said, I'll leave in 2 weeks. And from that time, my mom has been there. All of my promotion ceremonies, homecomings, CPO penning, my commissioning, most recently came out for my penning to Lieutenant Commander. She's been there to welcome me back. She's hosted some epic parties, which I think actually one of those pictures that's unexplainable of one of those parties. She's been there the whole time, so. Dad, you've sailed with me on small buoys and on carriers. In fact, I think you have more seat time than a lot of the sailors in the room here. You're my shipmate, and so I know this makes you proud, and the truth of the matter is I always wanted it that way. So now we're both retired, so we're just gonna have to talk about fishing. Thank you both for being there. Kim and Brandy, my sisters. So a couple of months ago, I'm going through a bunch of boxes of mementos, and I find all these old letters. Okay, and I've got things from decades ago. And in the box is a letter from 1990 from my sister Brandy, and she's telling me about school and how this stuff is and how proud she is of me. And I realized, wow, she's been there the whole time as well, doing all these things, supporting me all the way. And I flipped that over, and there's a funny little Easter card in there, and it's from my sister Kim, who had wrote me and telling me all about how life was going and how proud she was of me. And this is like, well, it's a long time ago. Like, I'm not going to do the math, but they've been there the whole time. Both my sisters have been at homecomings and promotion parties and almost every step of the way. Those two have been there, and I thank you for being there with me the whole way. Your support means a lot to me, both your and your families who have been there and understand it. Two little girls who know what's important in life and how to be patriotic. I love you all. Summer in Austin. This is probably where I really like starting on. So I could say something like my pride and joy and all that stuff, but that wouldn't capture it all. You can ask anybody I work with from any place I've been to, from Cuba to Africa, Kings Bay to the Connie. I talk about you guys a lot. Like a lot. Right? I do. As she knows, like I do. I talk about you guys a lot. Summer. So over the years, you've lived in 13 houses and gone to 5 different schools. Each time you showed up a new place, you quickly made friends. You're the most non-judgmental and accepting person I know. You know no prejudice. You have no fear. You looked out for the kids in the group who needed someone to talk to, who needed support. You grabbed the outcast, you brought him in, you made him smile. You're tenacious and adventurous. She's had at least one job and sometimes 2 or 3. Right now she has no job. Since the day she was 16 years old, she's had at least one job, sometimes 2 and 3, worked her way through college. She's owned her own businesses. And she writes the most entertaining food blog in the universe. Like really, it's summertries@blogspot.com. Summertries@blogspot.com. Click on it, follow it, like it. She wants to get free food from places. I was typing this whole thing up, And Summer sends me a text because she like absent-mindedly was gonna try and drive on the base and realized that after you're 23, you don't have those ID cards anymore. And she says, you know, there should have been a class for dependents. I don't have this anymore. When we retire, they have this their whole lives and they grow up. So she said that, and I said, that's funny, that's gonna end up in the speech. So there it is, told you. You're getting ready to head out on a new adventure. Like me, you have no job. But you can always call on me and lean on me. Austin. Well, you lived in 9 houses, went to 9 schools. 9 houses, 9 schools. Last few of them were like boom, 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 boom. I had to tell about my favorite memory of you, though. You were about 4 years old. We were living on base in Seal Beach. We were living on base, and Colors goes down. I was looking out the window. Austin's outside with a bunch of the neighbor kids, and they're playing, and Austin snaps to, puts his hand over his heart, like 4 years old. But that's not good enough for him, because it's kind of like a sign of things to come. He looks at everybody else around him, and he starts yelling at all the other kids, "It's Colors! Get it attention!" Somebody's in trouble. The look on your face was so serious, I never forgot it. It's one of those things in my mind. When I enlisted him in the Navy, at your graduation, I thought about all those things, about him being there and seeing that. I'll always be there for you, just like your sister. You guys always count on me, no matter what. So again, like Forrest Gump, it's the people around you who kind of make the story, make it memorable. It wasn't really about me. It's not really about Tom Hanks. It was about all the other people he ran into. And that was the same for me. My memories of what I've done in this journey of 10,000 days is really about the people that were around me. And I feel obligated to mention some of those. And again, they may not be here. They may not even be with us anymore. But there are a lot of my mentors or friends. A lot of them are chiefs. A lot of them are people who got me on the right path and that I just looked up to. The first one is Radioman's Senior Chief, RMCS Fusco. I have no idea where this guy is. No idea in the right of the world, but he grabbed this SMSN, I think I was at the E3 at that time, and he choked me. He lifted me up off the ground by the neck, and he threw me up in an angle iron. He was about this big. I don't know what kind of judo move he threw. And he pulled me down, he looked me in the eye, and he said, "You're too smart to not figure out how to play this game." And that senior chief showed me that it's kind of a game. If you figure it out, it's kind of easy. And so I had to mention the guy. MACS Compo, Master Chief LaCordy, the 2 first master at arms that I looked at and looked up to. 2 kind of crazy guys. They would not get along well with it. We'd all be on the cover of Navy Times. My first real mentor, now retired Lieutenant Commander Sean Henry. Back in the day, he was at EW1. I was at SM2. We were 95-45. Had to mention him. My friends Mike Leonard, James May, Brad Peterson, Bill DeJames, and crazy ass Crawford, who later saved my ass when I was an ensign, came back to work for me when he was a senior chief. Master Chief Mike Ford and Leland Butcher, who taught me and Dave and a couple other people here how to earn our anchors. And Leland and Mike did that for us. Jim Dennison, Tom Brown, the first couple of guys that we saw become chiefs in front of us and move out of our berthing. Ryan Paxson, Cody Joe Sadberry, Mike Boats Wilson, Master Chief now Dismuke, Chief Warrant Officer John Deal, Robert Dodge, Wallace Thornton, who was a true mentor to me and taught me attention to detail. Ask my guys about doing urinalysis. Who does triple check urinalysis, huh? Yeah, that's why right there. They're still doing it. And I learned a lot from you. Learned a lot. Our security officers for that band of misfits, which created like 6 LDOs and I don't know how many Master Chiefs, and just every single one of us that stayed in put on khakis, which was Mike Kahn and Ed Taco Bell Ramirez. I had to say, y'all know what oh yeah, this guy, Dave, and his wife Erica, and their family, of course, Josh, Ashley, and Kaylin. Those of you that know us know. Those of you that don't know think we hate each other. but it's not true. You are my brother. I've met a lot of people in 27 years, and a lot of my call friends and a lot of my shipmates and all that stuff, but there's nobody more loyal and nobody that I trust more and call a friend more than that guy right over there who we have served. Look, we've spilt more warm beer than some of you have all drinking in your entire lives. The world kind of makes a little bit more sense when we talk things out, even when we talk them out in a way that nobody else understands it. But thank you for being there for both you and your family. I'm coming back home. I'm going to need somebody to yell at and tell mom jokes too, so be ready. I also want to thank Mike Molnick's retired Commander John Mosier, as well as the entire CPO mess from NRD San Diego that helped initiate me. They hazed me, they beat me, but they taught me what those anchors were worth. And I'm not saying that we should haze people or beat people or anything like that. That's the way we did it back then. But I appreciate what they did because they taught me humility. Because you start learning something as a first class thinking you're all that, and it was a very important thing that we learned going through Chief's initiation. And I'll never forget those guys that initiated me. I know where I came from. My brothers, Phil, Jay, Mike, center shitter Joe. I don't know why I always took the center one, but he was always in the center. Our brother who transferred before us, he's sitting there drinking a beer, and he's got a cigar waiting for us. Manny, rest in peace, brother. Senior Chief Dave Yeager, James Bethel, probably one of the best LCPOs I ever had. Not nice, you're good. Captain Myrick, who taught me to read every single character and every document I was putting my name on, or certainly every document I brought to him as an officer. And then good friends, Tina Taylor, Senior Chief Tina Taylor, Chris Rupp, Don Roberts, Eric with a C, Eric with a K, my ensign lower half, all the others from Chill Beach, Master Chief Dan Bailey, retired warrant officer now, Dan Bailey, Admiral Simons and Captain Brugal, who took a chance on an ensign and let him be a department head. And a group of the best first-class petty officers who are now known as Lieutenant Tovar and Senior Chief Thorpe, Greg and Ivelich. Chris Coco, Big Country, and Tony Sanders, my LCPOs from Kings Bay. Got a little shout out for my Kings Bay folks out there. Gary White, Shane Marion, Captain Hayhurst, best ash chewing ever, and Colonel Vargo, who I can still outfish. Master Chief Myers, who was kind of like the best LCPO. She did really good ash chewing, so I'm just saying. I'll give her your number. He's too nice. From the brig, Daryl Greenway and Chris Walters, who were my LCPOs, Commander Bryant and Commander Spagone, who was LDO commander, which was awesome. Marco Nicole, Jay, and Master Chief DJ Johnson from Africa. We had fun running that place. We left, everybody got fired. I have no idea what happened. Jack and Julie, sincerely thank you guys for witnessing my bowling prowess. I can be had on contract to come show off my skills anytime. I appreciate it. There were times where I really needed to laugh on Thursday nights, and thank you guys for letting me talk about something other than work. Well, sometimes I did talk about work, but you all listened and made me laugh, and I had a good time. Thank you guys. I'm not rooting for the Titans or the Vols. It's not happening. Security Department, look, you all are awesome. You guys are you're the high-powered team. I've never seen a group of people that was literally, you're not really hand-picked and all that stuff, but the fact that you guys are together looks like somebody went in there and picked out the best of the best. And I've sent some of y'all TAD places, and we get reviews everywhere. But I expect a lot of you I expect invitations to commissioning ceremonies and chief pinnings, because you guys are the future. Somebody in that group has my watch. Somebody. Some of the things that I'm thankful for might not be as grand as the things that went on in the Forrest Gump movie, but they're my scenes that occurred over the 10,000 days. I've literally been around the world more than once. I've stepped foot on 6 of the 7 continents and sailed past the 7th. I crossed the equator at least 12 times. I'm a shellback many times over. I'm a 3-time Golden Shellback. I crossed the international date line in the Tropic of Cancer. I've sailed the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Indian Oceans, the Bering, the Tasmanian, South China, and the Red Seas. I've been through the Straits of Malacca, Hormuz, and Magellan. I've seen camels in Africa, every form of marine life you'll ever witness. I've seen the Arc de Triomphe, the Sydney Harbor Bridge, and Mount Fuji. I walked the decks of the battleship Missouri in New Jersey before they were museums. I paid respect to those who lie inside the Arizona. I birthed in Brunei, the Azores, Cuba, in a place called Kwajalein, in another place called Djibouti. 10,000 days is a long time. I've seen some cool places, I've met some cool people, I did some cool things along the way. There's a point in the movie where Forrest Gump, he goes on this epic run, he's running all over the country, and he sees all these cool things, and they show these pictures of Mount Rushmore and all these things that he's seen over the few years. At the end of this 3-year journey for him, 3-year run, he stops and turns around and he looks at everybody there. They just like, oh, he's got all these people following him. And they want him to say something profound. And he looks at him and he says, I think I want to go home now. And as I wrap this up, I'm going to look at you. You're going to look at me and say, oh, he's going to say something profound. And I'm just going to say, I think I want to go home now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those touching remarks. It's nice to know that I'm like the 3rd or 4th best LCPO you ever had. Flag folding detail, post.
The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of life for the defense of our country to attain a peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as in times of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against our enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through her faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The tenth fold is a tribute to Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of a Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of Christian citizens, represents the emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." Lieutenant Commander Harris will now present the flag to his daughter Summer. This flag was flown on board PCU Gerald R. Ford on 16th of March, 2015.
Who's got my watch? That's what I want to know.
Who's got your watch? Somebody's got your watch, sir. We're going to find out here in just a second. Friends and family, shipmates, the time has come for a sailor to retire. The piping over the side ceremony you are about to witness is very brief. It consists of Lieutenant Commander Harris walking between the two rows of side boys and saluting as the boatswain's pipe is sounded. Do not be misled either by its brevity or its simplicity. Although short and uncomplicated, this ceremony is rooted in hundreds of years of naval tradition, and is considered by most of us to be the single most important event in a sailor's career. Being piped over the side signals the beginnings of transition from the familiarity and brotherhood of life in uniform to an unfamiliar and unknown life in civilian clothes. As Lieutenant Commander Harris walks the aisle across the ceremonial quarterdeck, he will, in a short distance of about 20 feet, complete a portion of a path linking the past to the future. It is a path that hundreds of thousands of seafarers from all navies of the world have walked over the centuries. Soon, Lieutenant Commander Harris will go ashore for the last time. Sir, who's got your watch?
Good question, Master Chief.
You need
Who's
to
got my
stand.
watch?
You stand up, sir. For 27 years, this sailor has stood the watch.
While some of us are on our bunks at night, this sailor stood the watch.
While we were in school learning our trade, this shipmate stood the watch.
Yes, even before some of us were even born into this world, this shipmate stood the watch. In those years when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizons of history, this shipmate stood the watch.
Many times he would cast an eye ashore and see his family standing there, needing his guidance and help, needing that hand to hold during the hard times, but he still stood the watch.
He stood the watch for 27 years. He stood the watch while we, our families, and our fellow countrymen slept safely in our racks. This sailor stood the watch.
Today, we are here to say, shipmate, you stand relieved. Relieved by those you've trained, by those you've led, by those you have guided.
Shipmate, stand relieved. I have the watch.
Captain Meyer, I have been properly relieved, and I request permission to go ashore.
Ashore, shipmate, fair winds, falling seas.
Bosun, stand by to pipe the sign. Shipmate going ashore.
Aye, Master Chief. Side boys, post. Left or right, face.
This order has been passed on naval ships from 1500s through today. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of a ship to order up the jolly boat, crew of 6 strong backs, side boys, and bosuns to send an old shipmate and fellow officer to the shore retirement or home, never to set sail on any ships again. All hands on deck was passed. Speeches were made about great victories, battles fought upon open seas, raging storms weathered, and voyages to distant and strange lands with ports of calls others would only dream about. The bosun would stand tall, the side boys. The retiree would request permission to go ashore, step to the platform, and the side boys would lower away. As the jolly boat pulled away, the gunner would fire a salute from the ship's main battery. The retirees sat in the stern sheets while going ashore. Today, we are here to honor our shipmate who is going ashore for the final time. Lieutenant Commander Jeffrey A. Harris, United States Navy, retired, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this now concludes today's retirement ceremony, and on behalf of Lieutenant Commander Harris and his family, thank you for taking part in this time-honored tradition. All guests are cordially invited to join Lieutenant Commander Harris and family for refreshments at the Hilton Tavern, Newport News, just down the road. Thank you very much.